Welcome students to Virtual Reality and Digital Spaces, a special tutorial on ControlNet and gaining control over generative AI algorithms. So we'll be using some of these in this course, and some of you will choose not to, which is great, but the concepts are important. And there is a concept called control net, which is a weird term, but we'll see a few examples of that, and I think it'll make sense kind of intuitively. It's a very powerful concept, and it might have a strange name, but we can kind of see here a simple example of what it is. So this is an example of a control net where we put in just a black and white simplified block version of what we want for our scene. And then we ask the generative AI algorithm to create something that follows this as a guide. And so you see right here, it has the same basic structure. It's just, filled in and colored. And then here's a different example in a different style and a different example. Now, what's funny about this is, as you can probably tell, we made these a few years ago, and the technology has gotten much, much better for AI images, especially, and now AI video. So let's talk about the kind of progression of that and how the term control net and a few others that are associated with generative AI are still relevant. So right here we have control net. There's other ones such as clip interrogation, negative prompt. We'll talk about a few of those, but they're all interesting in their own different ways and are very fascinating. So contemporarily here in 2026 rather, you'll find a lot of these videos where you'll see stuff like this. Let's take a look.
You okay? Oh, shit. Oh,
So we can tell this is the top, this is the real thing they recorded, and on the bottom is what they got using generative AI. So this is the modern video version of ControlNet. It's the same concept. You're still using this as an input to kind of guide or sketch for the AI what you want in your scene and allowing it to fill in. It's a very powerful technique. It's getting better and better every month as these new algorithms come out. And this one in particular, Ray 3.14, at least as of February 2026, is probably the state of the art in the world right now. So we'll take a look at that. It's by an interesting company called Luma AI as well. And so it's got a few things. And we'll talk about how it relates to other technology. So this is an example of something an old professor of mine used to say, if you don't have the money, you've got to have the time. He'd always say that over and over again. And it's true. So this is not free. You have to pay $10 a month to use it. And I don't recommend that. I actually recommend going the other direction. If you don't have the money, you've got to have the time. There are free ways and open source models that we can use to do this if you have a gaming computer. And I'll show more examples of that. But for this demo, I just wanted the fastest way to the state-of-the-art algorithm. So I ended up paying $10 a month just to show you for this tutorial. But don't feel like you need to pay for it. As long as you have a gaming computer or even an old computer, you can just wait a lot longer. You will be able to do this for free locally, 100%. So that's important to mention. Okay, great. So this is Dream Machine by Luma Labs. And using it, we can do an example of ControlNet. And I've made this rendering already, which I'll show you in a second. And I want to talk about it in connection to an older technique, actually a very, very old technique called rotoscoping. So before I spoil it, let's just take a look at this video real fast. This is Betty Boop from 1933.
She's so sweet, so calm, so fair. Let her go, let her go, oh bless her. Wherever she may be.
So this character right here, who will turn into a kind of a ghost monster thing in a second, he's dancing very human-like. The way he moves, it really kind of looks like a strange human. It doesn't look like a normal cartoon. It's pretty realistic. He's dancing in a strange fashion. But there's a reason for that. This is one of the most famous examples of a technique called rotoscoping. And if you've never heard that, basically what they did is they would take a video of an actual human and they would use it like control net. They would take the video and they would draw frame by frame by frame over on top of the animation sorry, on top of the video, and they would use that to guide their animation. And the reason they did that is for a number of things, but essentially it captures the motion, it captures the movement, the liveliness, the lifelike, kind of human thing. And we can tell our brains are good at saying like, hey, that is real, that looks realistic. So it gives it a lot more life, essentially. It's the same reason we still use motion capture for CGI in modern times, and it's a broad subject. But how does that relate to control net? Well, control net is essentially the modern AI version of that same thing. We can input a video and have that guide the AI animation that we create. So let me show you an example of that. I took this old film of Charlie Chaplin dancing from modern times. Let's watch that video real fast. All right, so that's the video I input into Dream Machine, and I'll show you how I did that. I went to the Ray 3 algorithm, and in this, you can say modify. So modify is the technique we want to use it as control net. You input your Charlie Chaplin video, and then you tell it what you want. And so I said rotoscope, cartoon. I said a fox dancing. Let's do something else. Let's do of a what do I want to see dance? I don't know, a dragon. That would be hard. A dragon dancing, and it is expressionist style, Technicolor. Um, let's see, and a bird flies in at the end. Probably won't work. Let's see what happens. So as that's going, I will show you the one that I already completed. That is this one. So you saw that video, but here it is as a box. So let's look at it next to the actual animation. Let's see if that makes That's probably driving me crazy for a second. All right, so yeah, that's it's basically rotoscoping. It's rotoscoping with generative AI, and the way it's able to do that is just a more advanced version of the same thing. It's using every single frame of the video as a control net or a sketch or a guide for the algorithm. And so Luma AI is kind of interesting. Oh, I'm out of credits. Okay, that's that's the problem, right? So these things, they have to kind of keep spending credits and stuff. So we're going to learn how to do this locally for free. Let's take one more a look at a different example that I did, and I'll play you the original clip, which was from an old video of New York. So here's the actual video. Got a train. Cool. I think it makes enough sound. And I put that in there and I said, turn it into a sci-fi scene from a 1970s sci-fi movie at futuristic spaceships with the train, a levitating one. It looked like it was inspired. I can't remember what I said it was inspired by, but here, this is what we got. And as an artist, this is not what I wanted. So I do not want like some Back to the Future looking so this is where negative prompting would go. So say I got that as an output, I'm like, wow, I mean, it's kind of cool that it made the train levitate, it made it into a car, whatever, but it's not what I wanted. So this is where the other technique of negative prompting would go in. So I would go back to this and I would do this and I would add a negative prompt, which is say a negative prompt is saying what you do not want. So I would say, I don't want it to look like Back to the Future. I don't want a DeLorean looking car. I don't want a car, actually. I want it to be a levitating train, is what I said. So that's where you use negative prompts. So all of these techniques are just different ways to guide the AI and, try to work with it just like you would a human assistant. And they're all just different ways of gaining control because that's kind of the meta of what we're trying to do as artists. It's not great to just be able to kind of put random stuff in and get random stuff out. You really want to be able to guide it and use it as a creative tool, not this creative dice throw. It's a creative tool that you have to gain control over. The more control you gain, the more, it becomes really an extension of your hand, if you're drawing in the old sense. Just while I'm here, I might cut this off, but I was going to show another example, and kind of famously, people use these in the still image version to flesh out concept art. So here's another example, and this is why it's related to the idea of sketching, right? So you might have some rough sketch of a character from something. Let's use one that's even more rough. Let's see. Peter the Mentat. Okay, cool. So here's a sketch by, a real master artist, but it's a fast sketch. It's just an outline. And what we can do, if I still have enough credits, is we can modify the image, right? So let's go to modify. Let's put in this screenshot that I just took. And I'm going to say I just want it to be photorealistic image of character from a theater performance. I'm going to say makeup, uh, vibrant coloring. Um, I don't know, 1920s. No, not 1920s. It's going to take it off. I'm going to say 1960s film. I'll add Technicolor because I love Technicolor. All right, let's see what it does. Hopefully, I have enough credits for this. So it's going to take that sketch from the artist Mobius. The background's kind of cool. And what's fun about this platform is it actually says it's dreaming, right? So see, it says dreaming when it's loading. Kind of fanciful, but I do, there's a few reasons I like Luma Labs. We'll talk kind of more about one of the women, I think the founder, and she's a really cool character. So for better or worse, I don't like platforms where you have to pay, but for this one, I'll make an exception. Okay, cool. So we use that input, which let's take a look again at how rough that was. I mean, it's a nice image and it's by a real artist. It's, amazing quality, but this is all we put in, and it's even pixelated because it's kind of small. And Peter Lementat. And here's what we got out, a few different versions. And let's see, what did I say? It kind of captures it, right? You can imagine that this is some weird 60s psychedelic version of a theater version of Dune or something, and that's Peter the Mentat, right? It looks kind of like David Bowie. I don't know. So it works. And if you wanted to refine it, you would keep changing things. It might put in some negative prompts, like I don't want him to have a mustache or facial hair. I would take out facial hair and then guide it better. But that's the process. That's control net. That's negative prompting. Well, only positive prompting. I described what I wanted. All right, so we'll end it there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that was helpful, and we will show you more examples of how to get access to these tools for free. If you want to go and use this one, which I would recommend if you're curious and you have 10 bucks to spend, it's kind of fun, but we'll show a lot more free examples, and the free versions are catching up every week. So you don't need to pay to kind of use these things. All right. See you in class. Goodbye.